What's up, you guys? My name is Zanier, and welcome to or back to my YouTube channel. If you are a reoccurring subscriber, thank you so much. And if you're not, that's all right. That's okay. But I hope that you stay because we have an amazing time on this channel. And as soon as you hit that subscribe button, your life automatically improves for the better. So I suggest you automatically improve your life and hit that subscribe button. Just saying, just saying. In today's video, I am going to be showing you guys how to crochet these pair of shorts. I recently got an order for a set and I ended up making a top and shorts, and I posted it on TikTok and on YouTube and everybody was screaming for a tutorial. So I thought that I would come through today and supply you with that. So I think these are the perfect shorts to make if you just want a pair of going out shorts. Maybe you have a vacation that you're going on and you want to have your own custom pair of shorts, or if you're just looking to make some lounge shorts. I think that these are a great pattern, especially if you are a beginner. Without further ado, let's get on into it. We're first going to start by talking about the materials that you're going to need. You can use any type of yarn and any hook that you want for this pattern because it is based off of measurement. I am using the Hobby cotton yarn in this gray color, and then this is a pink yarn. I think it's Premier cotton. And then for my hook size, I am using a 3mm crochet hook, but you can of course use any size hook that you want. You're also going to need some stitch markers, a pair of scissors, and a measuring tape. This is of course optional. If you don't have a measuring tape, you can still make these shorts, but I think it's just helpful to have, especially if you're going to be making these shorts for somebody else. And then the last thing that you're going to need, this is also optional, I suggest a yarn needle, and that's just to help weave in your ends at the end. Of course, there are ways that you can weave in the end using your crochet hook. I just find this to be the easiest method. To make these shorts, there are 3 or 4-ish parts, I guess, if you count both of the legs, but I'm counting the legs as one. So you're gonna start with the waistband, then we're gonna make the body of the shorts, and then the legs. Without further ado, let's get into making the waistband. You are first going to want to take your measurements. I suggest getting your measuring tape out and measuring where you want your waistband to actually start. I prefer for my clothes to be either at my belly button or below. I don't love the high-waisted look, but if that's what you're into, feel free to do it. So now we're gonna actually start making the waistband. To begin, I am starting with a chain of 11, and this is so that I can crochet a row of 10 single crochets. So that 11th chain is going to be the beginning of your first row. The amount of chains that you do for the waistband depends on the height that you want your waistband to be. So if you want your waistband to be smaller, I would suggest chaining a little less, but if you want it to be bigger, you can of course chain more. Just make sure that you are chaining one extra chain so that way you can start your next row. For the first row, I am going to go into the second chain away from the hook and start my first single crochet. To do a single crochet, you insert your yarn through the chain, yarn over and pull through the loop. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops on your hook, and you should have your first single crochet. You're going to continue this all the way down the row. So once again, you're going to insert your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. And we're just going to continue that process all the way down until we have a total of 10 stitches, or the desired amount of stitches that you chained in the beginning. After you have crocheted your first row of single crochets, you should have a total of 10. You're now going to chain 1 and turn your work. And we are now going to start the pattern that we're going to use for the rest of the rows. So we're going to single crochet in the back loops only. That means instead of going through the entire stitch, you're going to go into the back loop that is farthest away from you. You're going to insert your hook into that back loop, yarn over, pull through the first loop, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. And you're going to continue this process all the way down until you have a total of 10 stitches again. And this is going to give your waistband a ribbed look, which is going to allow for the waistband to stretch a little bit more. We are going to follow this pattern all the way down for the rest of the rows of the waistband until you have reached your desired length. As you can see, we are now getting that ribbed effect from only these 2 rows. So you're going to continue that process all the way down until you have the desired length of your waistband. After you have finished crocheting your desired length, I want you to try on the waistband. If you need to add more rows, this is now your chance to do that. Or if you've made it a little too long, you can decrease it. You can also get out your measuring tape to measure the waistband. You just want to make sure that you are pulling the waistband tight to the measuring tape so that way you're getting an accurate measurement. We are now going to work on the body of the shorts. So if you are changing colors for the body, this is where I suggest you do that. And we are now going to fold the waistband in half and slip stitch the end and beginning together. So I would chain 1, then fold the waistband in half, making sure the ends are matching up. And then we're going to insert our hook into both that beginning and end stitch, and then pull through all of the loops on our hook. And that is how you make a slip stitch. So once again, you're going to insert your hook through both the beginning and end of the waistband, yarn over, and then pull through all of the loops on your hook, creating the slip stitch. And you're going to continue this all the way down until your waistband is sewed together. I then want you to try the waistband on again and make sure that it is fitting as you want. After you have slip stitched your final stitches together, I want you to chain 2, and this is going to be the beginning of the body of the shorts. So as you can see, this is what our waistband is looking like. So now let's begin the body. After you have chained 2, I want you to half double crochet into every single crochet row that we created in the waistband. To half double crochet, you are going to yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, then yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over one more time, and then pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that is how you create a half double crochet. So we are going to continue this all around the waistband until we have reached the beginning where we did our first half double crochet. You are then going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 2 So going into that second chain, and then chain 2 again and turn your work. And for the next couple of rows, we are just going to half double crochet in the stitches. Make sure that you are chaining 2 at the start of each row. So I have gone ahead and crocheted about 4 or 5 rows down. You are going to want to do this until you get to where your bottom starts to get bigger. And we are now going to work on our increase rows. For our increase rows, we are going to need to grab our stitch markers, and then we are going to count the amount of stitches that we have and divide that by 4. And then from the center where we start our work, we are going to count however many stitches you calculated to get to the ends. You can also just guess on the sides and, pinpoint, okay, this is where the sides are. But I find that actually counting your stitches and then dividing by 4 helps to make sure that you're increasing evenly on both sides, and that way your shorts aren't looking wonky. So here you can see me counting my stitches until I get to the quarter part, and that is essentially where my increases are going to go. Now that we have marked where our increases are going to go, we can start crocheting as normal. So I'm going to half double crochet in every stitch, and then once I get to my stitch marker, I'm going to half double crochet 2 into that space. And then you want to make sure that you place your stitch marker back into the area where you did your increases. So I just put it in the last stitch that I did, but you can put it in the first one. It really is up to you as long as you're staying consistent. And the amount of increase rows that you do depends on how large your butt is. So I only ended up doing 2 increase rows, but if you have a larger butt, you can of course do more until you get to your desired fit. You just want to make sure that you're trying the piece on as you go, so that way you're not making the legs too big. Of course, if you want a more baggier look with the shorts, you can increase more on the sides, and that's going to create more leg room for you. Here you can see me doing my 2 half double crochets, and then we're going to half double crochet all around until we get to the other stitch marker and do 2 more half double crochets into that space. And then we can half double crochet as normal, and we're going to continue this process for the next couple of rows. Once again, this just depends on your size. So if your butt is bigger, you may have to do more. If it is not as big, you won't have to do less. I only did 2 rows of increases. At this point, you can try on your piece and make sure that it is fitting right. So here I am trying it on. As you can see, it is looking good. I wanted to go ahead and show you guys where I am at in the shorts. After doing those increase rows, which I have marked here, then I did 3 more rows of regular half double crochets, and so this is what we're working with now. I have actually finished crocheting the top part of the shorts. So I'm going to put these on for y'all so you guys can see. This is what we are working with. I, of course, want these shorts to stop a little bit below my belly button, so I'm just making sure to place the shorts over my pants in a way that I can, like, making sure that everything as far as like the waistband is where I want it to be. If you look at my shorts, I have made it to the crotch part. I consider the crotch part where your legs begin to leg. This, of course, depends on how large you want your crotch to be, how much space you need. Now we're gonna actually create the leg holes for this project. I've made it to the end of the row and we're gonna go ahead and slip stitch. So now we're at the point where we should be at the middle of our piece. For this part, you're gonna want to make sure that you're putting the crotch sort of directly in the middle, so that way your leg holes are the same. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually count how many stitches I have here. We ended on 119 stitches, and I think that's actually going to work out in our favor, so that way we have like our focal point here. So yeah, I just want to make sure that my stitch markers are on the edge here. I went ahead and divided 118 by 2, and that gave 59 as the halfway point. So I'm just gonna count to 60 since there's an odd amount. If you have an even amount, you can go ahead and just divide it by 2 and then start your crotch area in that place. This is where the 60th stitch is. And as you can see, my stitch markers are still on the side here. So I'm actually gonna just steal this stitch marker here from this side and put that there like so. And now we're gonna actually create a chain. So to do the crotch, all you have to do, it's very easy. We're literally just going to chain. So I'm gonna start with this chain of 12, and once you have your desired chain length for the crotch area where we placed that stitch marker, we're just gonna go ahead and slip stitch to the other side where that stitch marker is. So just slip stitch like so, and then now you can see we've actually started the legs of our shorts. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this on. So I ended up actually chaining 18 because when I tried it on, the shorts were a little too tight. You can of course chain as many as you want. This just depends on how large you want your crotch area to be. But now that I have done my desired chain, we are now going to start crocheting the legs. So after you have slip stitched, you're going to want to chain 2, and we are now going to work into one side of that chain. So when I say one side, I mean literally only one side of the chain. We're not going into the entire chain because you want to make sure that you have the other side for the other leg. So I am just half double crocheting as normal, going down one side of the chain here. And then after you have half double crocheted down the chain, you can half double crochet in the other stitches as normal until you get to the beginning of your row. and then you can slip stitch your row together by going into the top of that chain 2 that we did initially, and then chain 2, turn your work, and continue that process of half double crocheting all the way around in every stitch. And so after you have done your first row, rows 2 and on, you're just going to half double crochet as normal in each stitch, then slip stitch and chain 2 and continue half double crocheting. I've gone ahead and finished crocheting the shorts on one side. I crocheted about 10 rows down. I would make these longer, but I'm running out of yarn and I want to make sure I have some for the other side, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fasten off because I like the length. I just wanted to make sure it covered my booty. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to attach the yarn to the other side. You're basically gonna follow the same process that you did for the other side, but let's just attach our yarn first. I'm going into that same space where I had the stitch marker, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take that out. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave that there. And we're now going to attach the yarn here. So I just insert my hook, and then I take the yarn like this, wrap it around, and pull it through. Then I'm going to yarn over, making sure I'm holding the tail end and the working end of the yarn, and chain 1, and then I'm going to drop that tail and then make another chain, since we always start a row with a chain 2. Then I'm going to turn my work. Once again, we're going to work into the top of that initial chain that we created to make the other leg hole. So I've gone ahead and chain 2, so now I'm going to work right here into the top of that chain and do half double crochets all the way down. So I finished crocheting down that chain, and now we're just gonna work into the hole, or work into this leg hole until we've reached about 10 rows, and then I will come back to show you guys the finished product. This is what the final look is looking like. I am absolutely obsessed with these shorts. I love them. They came out so good, and I feel like I need to make 5 million pairs of these. So let me know what you guys think. I am obsessed. Well, this is awkward. Sorry to jump scare y'all. I just forgot to film my outro and I need to get this video up, so here we are. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me what you thought about the tutorial. This is only my second one, so please bear with me, okay? Please bear with me. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them down below. If you're interested in seeing me outside of YouTube, I have an Instagram and TikTok where I post about my crochet ventures and just my day-to-day life. So if you're interested in seeing that, go check those things out. My Etsy is also linked down below. If you are interested in buying some shorts from me, please check out my Etsy. They will be on my shop. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you made it this far, I love you. You're a real one, and I will see you next time. Bye. Do we really want to take it there? Girl, it's been too long. Clock done fell off the wall. Been out here writing songs. Where the hell did the time go?